a few of the stories making headlines, and that is the late former Prime Minister Raila Odinga has been conferred the Chief of the Order of the Golden Heart, Kenya's highest civilian honor, 5 days after his death. President William Ruto, presiding over the Mashujaa Day celebration, said the award recognizes Raila's lifelong commitment to nation building and the bottomless debt of gratitude owed to him. Ruto mourned Raila as an irreplaceable giant who relentlessly pushed Kenya towards higher ideals. JJ Kiora begins our bulletin this morning.
As the country continues to mark the 7 days of mourning, President Ruto used the Mashujaa Day platform to honor the late ODM leader.
Observe a moment of silence in honor and celebration of his remarkable life and service to our great country, our continent, and to humanity.
A minute of silence, followed by a glowing tribute from the president and visiting dignitaries.
I pay tribute to the memory of the illustrious departed and express my deep compassion to President Ruto, to his family, and to the people of Kenya. May his soul rest in peace.
And even at this time, as we continue to mourn the departure of our former Prime Minister, one of the greatest Kenyans to ever walk on our soil, we remember many more, those who have gone before us for selflessly protecting our sovereignty, defending our dignity.
In a solemn moment, Ruto announced the posthumous conferment of a Chief of the Order of the Golden Heart to Raila Odinga.
Greatness and nobility are never achieved by settling for the ordinary or the comfortable. They are seized by those who dare to push the frontiers of possibility, by those who refuse to be confined by what is, but instead reach boldly for what could be.
The president also took aim at critics of a broad-based government, accusing them of missing the bigger picture.
When some saw the opportunity to bring down their competitors, even if it meant bringing down the country, Baba chose the stability of Kenya. For Agwambo, the specter of a failed state was too grave to contemplate.
He rallied Kenyans to unite beyond ethnic lines, calling it the truest way to honor Raila's legacy.
He tirelessly reminded leaders and citizens alike that our overarching identity is not defined by tribe, region, or creed, but by the sacred bond of being Kenyan.
In line with what he described as Raila's vision for inclusive development, Ruto pledged to reach out to more leaders in what is seen as an olive branch to Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka to forge a development-conscious coalition.
I have consulted with my former boss, the fourth president of Kenya, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta. I have held discussions with majority of members of parliament, and they are here. I have consulted with many governors and grassroots leaders from every corner of the nation. And I will continue to engage because Kenya's progress must never be a partisan pursuit. It is a national inclusive mission.
Now, President William Ruto has unveiled an ambitious economic transformation blueprint setting the stage for what he calls Kenya's next phase of development, one built on food security, industrial power and modern infrastructure. Speaking during this year's Mashujaa Day celebrations at Ithokwe Stadium, that is in Kitui County, the head of state said his administration will move beyond political divisions to deliver tangible change across every region of the country. Ben Chumba now reports.
Thousands gathered at Ithokwe Stadium in Kitui County for a celebration of the country's heroes and heroines of independent Kenya as the country marked this year's Mashujaa Day. It is here that the president announced the bold and ambitious plan for Kenya's next chapter.
I have arrived at a clear conclusion that although we have made commendable progress in stabilizing the nation over the last 3 years, the time has come to take the country to the next level. And to do so, we must act decisively on at least 3 national priorities.
President William Ruto outlined 3 national priorities: food security, industrialization, and infrastructure, describing them as the foundation of a self-reliant, prosperous Kenya.
We have now set an ambitious target to build at least 50 mega dams across Kenya and to bring at least 2 million acres under irrigation. Let me emphasize that this is not a far-fetched dream. It is a necessity that must be realized within the next decade.
On food security, the president said Kenya must end its dependence on imports that drain the economy of over 500 billion shillings every year.
We must become not only a food secure nation, but also a major exporter of farm produce in the coming years. We have many markets that we have negotiated. We have the American markets under ACOA. We have the Chinese market that is now open for us. We have the European market that we have negotiated under the Economic Partnership Agreement. We have the Africa Continental Free Trade Area market of 1.4 billion that we can export to.
The president also announced a major push for value addition and manufacturing, anchored on special economic zones in Dongo Kundu, Naivasha and Vipingo, and industrial parks in all 47 counties.
To transform Kenya into a prosperous, job-creating, wealthy nation, we must become a country that makes things, not merely buys or imports them. A country that exports finished products, not raw materials. A country where industries absorb labor, spur innovation, and expand wealth across every region. We are unwavering in our vision that everything Kenya produces must be processed in Kenya.
With energy as the driver of this growth, Ruto pledged to quadruple Kenya's power generation capacity from 2,300 to 10,000 megawatts, tapping into hydro, geothermal, solar, wind, and nuclear sources.
Already, a lot of research is going on the development of the first nuclear energy plant in Kenya, in Siaya County. With abundant energy, we shall power factories, light every home, and drive Kenya to become the industrial hub of East Africa and the continent.
The president also highlighted massive infrastructure projects, including plans to dual over 1,000 kilometers of highway, construct 10,000 kilometers of new tarmac roads, and extend the standard gauge railway from Naivasha to Kisumu and onward to Malaba. As President William Ruto calls for action beyond politics, his ambitious plan for food security, industrial growth, and infrastructure will now be judged by delivery and not promises.
And Chumba reporting there from Ethokwe Stadium in Kitui County. Mashujaa Day celebrations across the counties were marked in honor of the late former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. The late Raila was celebrated as a nationalist and the country's liberator, with politicians urged to emulate.
Mashujaa Day celebrations across various counties abandoned the norm on such a day and instead focused on celebrating the late Raila Odinga. In Kitengela town of Kajiado County, a moment of silence was observed in honor of the late ODM leader. Speakers shared fond memories of Raila.
Na hata wale labda ambaye hawakujionyesha hadharani wamekuwa wakimpenda kwa msukumo wake wa taifa kuwa wa haki na ukweli, kupigania haki ya wanyonge.
Similar scenes were witnessed in West Pokot, where apart from giving status update on security issues, area leaders paid tribute to the late Odinga.
Tumesema leo tunaiga mambo ya Raila Amolo Odinga ambaye alikuwa ni mtu wa kufanya kazi na hata wale walikuwa wanashindana pamoja.
Elsewhere in Siaya, Area County Commissioner Norbert Komora took a swipe at public servants for skipping National Day celebrations.
It's not their day here for them, okay, to stay at home and watch television, but they're supposed to be here. If they don't want to work for the government within Siaya government, then they can kindly tender their resignations. All civil servants who never showed up want to receive a communication as to why they didn't show up.
Meanwhile, low turnout characterized the Mashujaa Day celebrations held at Miritini World Bank grounds in Jomvuku constituency, Mombasa County. During the celebrations, Mombasa County Commissioner Mohamed Noor noted that the highest honors bestowed upon the late Prime Minister Raila Odinga by the President was well deserved.
Amepatie CGH. Ile mtu ako na CGH peke yake ni Rais William Ruto na Uhuru, kwa sababu alikuwa rais. Amepatie ile hona ile kubwa kabisa.
Inaongozwa na CPL.
And in Mandera, leaders called on residents to uphold peace, unity and mutual respect across all communities.
Tushirikiane, mharibu akiharibu, mtoe huyo mharibu. Msifiche mharibu, mnasema ni kilani ile ingine imetuchokoza.
Tulisema mara mingi mkono ya serikali ni mrefu, lakini siku hizi haitoki kwa town. We want mkono ya serikali iende paka msituni.
In Gathundia Stadium in Nyandarua County, residents of Kanjuiri Ridge Ward that recently witnessed a surge of livestock theft were urged to maintain peace and unity.
Na sisi kama Nyandarua tunatoa maziwa, lakini yeye anaona nyama, anakatakata ng'ombe vibaya, anaenda kuuza. Hiyo ni shida yetu.
We celebrate Olympic champion the late Samuel Wanjiru, world cross country champion John Gugi, steeplechase champion Julius Karaoke, marathon champion Catherine Dereva.
Kirinyaga County Commissioner Hussein Alaso used the celebration to send a stern warning to reckless Miraa drivers using the Embu Makutano Highway over increased accidents.
Tutaweka msako kali sana ya polisi katika hii barabara kuhakikisha ya kwamba hao madereva tutawashika na kuwapeleka kotini. Maana tumepoteza watu wengi sana kwa hii barabara kwa sababu ya recklessness ya hao waendeshaji wa gari mra.
Elsewhere in Kisii County, politics took center stage as Governor Simba Arati urged President William Ruto to consider joining the Orange Democratic Movement ahead of the 2027 general elections.
If you came back to ODM, definitely we'll have you as our flag bearer. I can assure you that in 2027, we will have our candidate, ODM candidate, as a presidential candidate.
Finally, Nakuru County, calls against female genital mutilation dominated the celebrations.
Ukipata mama, because ukitaidiwa tu lazima ukae mahali. Ujue wewe kama ni bibi ya mzee, hiyo mzee tutashika hata yeye. Tutawashika mkiwa wawili na ule anafanya hiyo kazi, because hatuwezi kuendelea na hayo maisha.
Thank you. Nancy Okwara reporting there. Now, the rotation of hosting national celebrations out of Nairobi, which kicked off in 2016, has not only seen counties reap economic benefit, but also long-lasting development programs. In Kitui County, the host of the 2025 Mashujaa Day celebrations, a 10,000-capacity Ethel Stadium was constructed for the national event, and even a mini state lodge set up in the area. Area Governor Julius Malombe terming the celebration a milestone in opening up the county to the rest of Kenya.
In 2015, Kenya announced a bold move to decentralize the hosting of national events from the capital, Nairobi. The aim then, according to the government, was to spur socio-economic growth, celebrate the country's cultural diversity, and strengthen national unity.
I took a trip on a sailing ship.
These celebrations not only transform how citizens experience the country's patriotic events, but also are plans for economy and development of the hosting counties. Kitui Governor Julius Malombe says the celebrations in the county have led to a number of notable development projects. Key among them is the construction of the 10,000 capacity Ithokwe Stadium that hosted the event, the rehabilitation of Ithokwe Airstrip, and the expansion of rural electrification program to cover 750 households, among other development programs.
Your Excellency, there are other projects that are currently being undertaken and others earmarked for implementation by your government. These include markets. 2 have been completed, one at Kakongo in Mwingi West and another one in Kamuwongo in Mwingi North, and 10 others which have been proposed for construction.
Malombe says the noble opportunity to host the celebration was a demonstration of national inclusivity, where all parts of Kenya feel equal.
This is indicative of your responsiveness as a national leader who is committed to inclusive service delivery and development in all parts of our country.
The governor highlighting a catalogue of development programs that accompanied the hosting of the national event to indicate the honor of being accorded an opportunity to hold the national event.
President Dr. William Ruto has honored 184 heroes and heroines during this year's Mashujaa Day celebrations in Kitui County. While conferring the honors at Kitui Mini State Lodge, the president said the individuals who were grouped in 14 categories were recognized for their exemplary contributions and sacrifices to the advancement of this nation.
President Dr. William Ruto conferred honors to 184 individuals in this year's Mashujaa Day celebrations. The head of state saying the individuals were identified from 14 categories for their immense and selfless sacrifices to the development of this country. Among those honored include Ambassador Jonathan Ojeda from Nigeria and Elias Jama for their contribution to peacemaking in the country.
In promoting peace in institutions and peace through schooling system. And that's one of the most important things, because inculcating peace in the minds of the youngsters is much more stronger and sustainable than doing it through adults. That is why I'm being honored by the president.
Following my active participation in promoting sustainable peace across the globe. As you may recall that earlier this year, we had the 14th edition of the Pan-African Leadership Symposium and Honors, which was bordered on consolidating peaceful coexistence in Africa.
The National Heroes Council Chief Executive Officer Charles Wambia said the individuals who are selected after careful vetting, and the benchmark was the role they have played in the nation building.
Each year we have a program that we honor somebody outside our country to make sure that the honors of Mashujaas have an enlightenment as nationalism. This time, 2 years we honored 2 people from America, but for the first time we also had an honor to have somebody from Nigeria. He's here as a person who's dealing with a lot of leadership, governance matters, and also we are looking at promoting the values under which National Heroes Councils are promoting, the leadership aspect of Africa.
A brief look at sports now, where national women's soccer team Harambee Starlets are putting final touches to their preparations ahead of their upcoming 2-legged 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against the Gambia. Now, the Starlets will begin their campaign at the Nyayo National Stadium this Friday before traveling away for the second leg to be played on Tuesday next week. Coach Beldine Odemba is expected to play a strong young squad for the 2 fixtures as Kenya aims to make a return to the Women Africa Cup of Nations for the first time since their debut appearance in 2016. The 16th edition of the Women Africa Cup of Nations will be played from the 17th of March to the 3rd of April in Morocco.